I was married to Mark for 5 years, and for the outside world, we were the perfect couple. He was a successful architect, and I was a freelance artist. But behind closed doors, I was living a nightmare. Mark was controlling, manipulative, and had a way of making me feel like everything was my fault. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought things would change. I hoped the baby would bring out the man I first fell in love with. Instead, Mark became worse. He told me that a child would ruin our aesthetic, and that I had to choose between our marriage and the baby. I spent weeks in tears, feeling trapped. One evening, while Mark was out at a gala, I realized I couldn't let my child grow up in a house filled with fear and coldness. I packed a single suitcase, took my savings, and left a note on the dining table that simply said, "I choose the baby." I moved to a small coastal town where nobody knew me. I started over, painting murals for local cafes to get by. 8 months later, my son, Leo, was born. He was the light of my life. One afternoon, while I was at the park with Leo, I saw a familiar car. Mark stepped out, looking polished as ever. He walked up to me, eyes cold, and said, "You think you can just take my heir away? I've spent months tracking you down. I'm filing for full custody." I felt my heart sink. But then, I remembered the folder I had kept hidden for years, the recordings of his threats, the financial records of how he cut me off, and the messages where he told me to get rid of the baby. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Go ahead, Mark. Let's go to court. I've been silent for 5 years, but I'm ready to talk now. Are you ready for the world to know who you really are?" He turned pale. He knew his reputation was his most prized possession. Without a word, he got back into his car and drove away. That was the last time I saw him. Now, every time I look at Leo, I'm reminded that some silences are meant to be broken, and some choices, no matter how hard, are the only ones worth making.